How much did The Odyssey cost to make? The Odyssey's $250 million budget explained. Warning. This video contains spoilers for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and behind the scenes production details. Christopher Nolan has made some of the biggest films in Hollywood history. From the Dark Knight trilogy to Inception, Interstellar, and Oppenheimer, but with The Odyssey, Nolan has done something even more ambitious. He reportedly spent $250 million making a single movie that makes it the most expensive film of his entire career. But here's the real question. Where did all that money go? How can a movie based on a 3,000-year-old Greek poem cost $250 million? Did the budget go to the star-studded cast, the massive practical sets, the groundbreaking IMAX technology, or was Christopher Nolan simply trying to create the greatest epic ever put on screen? Let's explain. The reported production budget for The Odyssey is around $250 million, making it one of the most expensive historical epics ever produced and Nolan's costliest film to date. The figure covers the cost of making the movie itself and does not include the worldwide marketing campaign, which industry reports estimate at roughly another $125 million. So why did the budget become so massive? The biggest reason is Christopher Nolan's commitment to practical filmmaking. Unlike many modern blockbusters that rely heavily on digital environments and green screens, Nolan wanted audiences to feel like they were actually traveling alongside Odysseus. Instead of creating oceans inside a computer, his crew filmed on real seas. Instead of building digital kingdoms, they traveled across multiple countries to capture authentic landscapes. That decision dramatically increased production costs. Every location required transporting hundreds of crew members, thousands of pieces of equipment, costumes, props, cameras, vehicles, ships, safety teams, and months of planning. One of the biggest expenses was the international shoot. Production took place across Greece, Italy, Morocco, Scotland, Iceland, and Malta. Each country offered unique landscapes that matched different parts of Odysseus' legendary journey. Rather than making one location look like another through CGI, Nolan chose to film in the real places that inspired ancient mythology. That meant moving the entire production from country to country for months, a logistical challenge that very few directors would even attempt. Then there were the ships. Unlike many historical adventures, where large portions of ships are computer generated, The Odyssey relied heavily on real vessels and full-scale practical builds. Creating ancient Greek ships capable of filming on open water is incredibly expensive. Every scene at sea required marine coordinators, weather monitoring, safety divers, support boats, special camera rays, and sometimes waiting days for the right conditions. Filming on water is widely considered one of the most difficult and expensive types of production in the film industry. Then comes the technology. Perhaps the biggest reason for the enormous budget, Christopher Nolan became the first filmmaker to shoot an entire feature film using IMAX cameras. These cameras produce breathtaking image quality, but they are also some of the largest, heaviest, loudest, and most expensive cameras ever built. Each camera requires specialized crews, custom support equipment, large amounts of film stock, and extremely careful handling. Simply transporting IMAX equipment around the world added millions of dollars to the production. Nolan has always believed audiences deserve the highest possible image quality. For The Odyssey, he pushed IMAX technology further than anyone before him. The film became the first feature photographed entirely with IMAX cameras, requiring close collaboration with IMAX to overcome technical limitations. Another major cost was the incredible cast. Matt Damon leads the film as Odysseus, but he is surrounded by one of the largest ensembles Christopher Nolan has ever assembled. While many performers reportedly accepted lower upfront salaries to work with Nolan, assembling so many A-list stars still represented a significant investment. Costumes also played a surprisingly large role in the budget. Unlike fantasy films that invent entirely new worlds, The Odyssey required designers to recreate the Bronze Age with historical authenticity. Thousands of costumes, armor, weapons, jewelry, helmets, shields, royal robes, and everyday clothing had to be crafted almost entirely from scratch. Nothing could look modern. Every detail had to feel believable. Then there are the visual effects. Many people assume a movie with a $250 million budget must be dominated by CGI. In reality, Nolan took the opposite approach. Whenever possible, he preferred practical effects, real explosions, real ships, real landscapes, real weather, and real stunt work. Visual effects were primarily used to enhance what had already been filmed rather than replace it. Ironically, practical filmmaking often costs more than digital filmmaking. It simply creates a different kind of realism. Another hidden expense was time. Principal photography reportedly lasted around 91 days, with enormous preparation before cameras even rolled. Every shooting day involved hundreds of cast and crew members. Accommodation, transportation, equipment rentals, insurance, meals, security, medical staff, and countless specialists working behind the scenes. When you multiply those daily costs across months of production, the budget climbs rapidly. So was spending $250 million worth it? Early results suggest it may have been. The Odyssey opened to approximately $264 million worldwide in its first weekend, making it Christopher Nolan's biggest global opening and one of the strongest debuts of his career. Critics praised its scale, practical filmmaking, and visual ambition, while audiences embraced the IMAX experience that Nolan spent years developing. Of course, making $250 million back is only part of the challenge. Once marketing and distribution costs are included, Universal's total investment is estimated to approach $375 million. Industry analysts believe the film will likely need to earn well over $600 million worldwide to become comfortably profitable in theaters, depending on revenue splits and ancillary income. In many ways, The Odyssey represents more than just an expensive movie. It represents Christopher Nolan's belief that audiences still want large-scale cinematic experiences that cannot be replicated at home. Instead of choosing the easiest or cheapest path, he invested in real locations, real craftsmanship, real performances, and the biggest film format available. That philosophy has defined his entire career, and with The Odyssey, he pushed it further than ever before. So, how much did The Odyssey cost to make? Around $250 million for production alone, making it Christopher Nolan's most expensive film ever. Add the global marketing campaign, and Universal's total investment climbs to roughly $375 million. But judging by the film's record-breaking opening weekend and overwhelmingly positive audience response, Nolan's biggest gamble may also become one of his biggest successes. What do you think? Was The Odyssey worth its massive $250 million budget? Or do you think Hollywood spends too much on blockbuster films? And after watching the movie, which scene looked the most expensive to you? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this behind the scenes breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more The Odyssey Explained videos, Christopher Nolan analysis, movie budget breakdowns, filmmaking secrets, hidden details, and Greek mythology content. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.